Stargazer, you issued me in your last video a challenge. You took off the white glove and you slapped me across the face. But I reject your challenge because it was based on an argument that I never made. It was based on a straw man. I have no reason to answer your challenge. I will, however, give you an alternative. This is the challenge you should have given me in asking the question, what makes a constitutional government better than an anti-statist society? So I'll address that. I want to give you a comparison between the two and offer a hypothetical situation. One is the desert island. You and I, and say our respective subscribers, are on a desert island, and we decide among us to lead a society that is anti-statist. Second situation, you and I in the status quo, the statist status quo, if you will. Now, you and I make a deal. I break the deal, and I leave you with the short end of the stick, so to speak. In the status quo, you and I go to the state, and the state decides what should happen. To ensure that I do what the state decides, it will threaten me with coercion. What is different on the desert island? On the desert island, you and I go to a mutually agreed upon arbiter that decides what should happen. And what happens if I refuse what the arbiter suggests? Not much. You could say, hey, you said you were going to do what the arbiter said. And I could just say, hey, tough. The deal remains broken, and you remain with the short end of the stick. If this arbiter we choose uses coercion to get me to do what the arbiter thinks is right, then we are in the same situation we were in the status quo. There's a very important point to make here. The way you guys are using the word anti-statism is to be anti-something that does not actually exist in the status quo. You are all just rebels without a cause, if you will. You guys define the state as a body with a monopoly on violence, and you throw this line out biblically. That the state, again, is the body with a monopoly on violence. There's a monopoly on violence. Well, to you I ask, to all of you, where is such a body? Can you point to it for me? Is it Washington, D.C.? No, it can't be. How about London? No. How about Tokyo, Madrid, Sydney, or any other capital of any other government in the world? No. You see, one of your viewers, Stargazer, properly pointed out that on an international level, governments deal among each other vis-a-vis, this is his word, vis-a-vis an anti-statism environment, since no single government of the world has a monopoly on violence over the others. This whole argument of anti-statism, by the way you guys insist on defining the state, amounts to nothing more than a stance against the establishment of a world government. That is the only way a true monopoly on violence would be achieved. And you don't have to be an anarchist to be opposed to world government. So the distinction you make, or whoever came up with this ridiculousness, is not justified. In the status quo, if we don't like the way one state does things, we can change our citizenship. A new state will have to agree to have us, but this is no different than in the desert island. On the desert island, if we don't like the way one arbiter goes about things, then we can change our relationship for a new arbiter, or with a new arbiter. Whoever we choose, however, would still need to agree to act as an arbiter on our behalf. The choices we have are finite in both situations. In the end, the only difference between our desert island and the actual status quo is the number of choices we have in picking the arbiter of our disputes. If you think that the desert island is better because there are more choices, you are just making an argument to favor small local government over large central governments, and thereby are also against a single world government. See? You guys were libertarians all along.